Alright, so guys, we're gonna look at some geometry. Father God, in the mighty name of your Son Jesus Christ, thank you for this wonderful day, and thank you for your love, thank you for your grace, thank you for your goodness, and thank you for everything that you do for us. And we please ask you that you be with us today as we get started with the day, and may you watch over us, and may your peace, love, joy, happiness, be over us in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna be doing some multiple choice questions here, geometry related multiple choice questions, of course, but this is grade 9, so this is just obviously like hover over, because people are probably doing some geometry in school, whether it be grade 8 or grade 9. This is the topic that you're in the midst of, and so I just thought let's just look at some problems. So this session will go on from now at this time up until, let's say, roughly 6:45, so it will be 45 minutes. So if you have time, you're here, let's go. Okay, so the very first question here, guys, is lines AB. There's lines AB, that's line AB, and CD, there's line CD, are straight lines. So we are told that they are straight lines, and then they're saying y is P. In other words, P, you can see where P is. Y is P equal to 88 degrees, and the options that are there is A, is it adjacent to 88 degrees? B, it alternates with 88 degrees. C, it is vertically opposite to 88 degrees. Or D, it corresponds with 88 degrees. All right, that is the $1 million question. Yeah, definitely. This will be saved, obviously, I'll upload it onto the YouTube channel. If you're writing on Tuesday, then that's great. I think this weekend I'll go live as well. Lungile, if you're in grade 9, you can expect me to be live this weekend for grade 9 GEC. Well, grade 9 actually, just the grade 8 and the grade 9. So what is the option? Which option, guys, then is correct here? If line A, B, and C, D are straight lines, y is P, there is P. Y is P equal to 88 degrees. 1, it is adjacent to 88 degrees. B, it alternates with 88 degrees. C, it is vertically opposite to 88 degrees. Or D, it corresponds with 88 degrees. So which one is it? Is it A, B, C, or D? I guess you guys will let me know. And the sooner you let me know, so I'll just allow like 20 seconds to lapse, and nothing more than that. So Owen says C, or Adila says vert op. All right, so please guys, with multiple choice, just make sure you always are choosing the right option. Oftentimes I see learners writing the statement when it's multiple choice, so please always make sure you're choosing the letter. Of course I can see what you're writing, okay, but always make sure that you are writing the letter that is appropriate. So I see that most of you are saying C, and you're 100% correct. The theorem, of course, that informs that is this theorem, and I want us to look at it very quickly. This is the theorem that informs that. It says vertically opposite angles are equal, and basically if you look at the diagram here, we say A and B, there's A and B, we say are vertically opposite angles, and then C and D, we say they are vertically opposite angles. That's as long as two lines, straight lines, basically important that two straight lines must intersect each other for us to consider them as what? The angles. These C and D are vertically opposite angles, and A and B are also vertically opposite angles. And guys, this reason here is what you write down whenever you are using this particular theorem to support why you are saying an angle is equal to another. So C and D are equal, guys. A and B are also equal. We say they are vert op angles equal. So you use this as your reason. Very, very important. Very important. Okay, let's move on to the next question. You guys are 100% correct. It is C. Number 2, AB is perpendicular to CD. What is the size of angle A1? A 270 degrees, B 180 degrees, C 45 degrees, or D 90 degrees. So we repeat, AB, here is AB, is perpendicular to CD. Remember the symbol here means perpendicular, right? And they're asking what is the size of angle A1. Guys, angle A1 is this angle on this side, okay? So they're asking what is angle A1? Is it 270? Is it 180? C, is it 45? D, is it 90 degrees? Now I'm looking at your comments, guys, and you guys are saying, Sakila is saying D, XXMGL is saying B, Oratile is saying D, Tabata is saying C, Oratile is saying D changing, and then Ez is saying it's D, Miss S. Anthony is saying D, 90 degrees. Okay, guys, we have various options. People are saying various things, okay, which means we don't all have clarity about what the size of angle D should be, and this is very sad. Please, guys, take note. We are saying AB, this line is perpendicular. This symbol here, this upside down T, means perpendicular. So that means CD and AB are perpendicular. Now they are asking us the size of what? Of angle A1. Guys, angle A1 is just this angle from here to there. Okay, so is it A 270, B 180, C 45, or D, is it 90 degrees? Guys, please, if AB is perpendicular to CD, yes, let us acknowledge the fact that CDS is a straight line, okay? But angle A1, which is just a part of the angle A, all right, A1 and A2, angle A1, we must all agree, is what? 90 degrees. Why? Because we are told that AB is perpendicular to CD. So this side is 90 degrees, this side, this angle here, A1. Angle A2 will also be what? 90 degrees. Both of these angles, angle A1 is 90, angle A2 is also 90 degrees. Why? Because we are told that AB, this line AB, is perpendicular to CD. So angle A1 is 90 degrees, angle A2 is 90 degrees. Together, as they are on the straight line, these adjacent angles add up to 180 degrees. But this angle A1, it is only what? 90 degrees. Please, guys, please. Otherwise, when we make the mistake of thinking that angle A1 is 180, we have a problem. More so if we make the mistake and say angle A1 is 45, it means we have a big problem. More so if we say angle A1 is 270 degrees, we have an even huger problem. So please, angle A1 is 90. Why do we say that? It's because when they say AB is perpendicular to CD, that means the angle here, A1 is 90 degrees, and the angle A2 is also 90 degrees. What do they want? They want the size of angle A1. There's a cap on top of A, which means angle A1. So angle A1 is D, 90 degrees. Please, my learners, we must understand that. All right? Are we together? So can I move on? Are we all understanding why angle A1, we are saying it's 90 degrees? Can Sir move on to the next problem? Or are we still having people that are here that are like, I have no cooking clue what you're talking about? Okay. This symbol, upside down T, means perpendicular. Perpendicular means right angled. This means specifically that if AB is perpendicular to CD, then the angle this side is 90 degrees, and the angle here as well is 90 degrees. The addition of both angles, since they lie on the straight line and they are next to each other, they are adjacent to each other, should add up to 180. But angle A1 on its own is 90. So option D is the right option. Let's move on to the next question. What is the relationship between angles marked A is here, guys, and B is there? Take note that this line EF is called the transversal line, and AB and AD are parallel. Why do we know they are parallel? Because there are these two arrows. These two arrows mean parallel lines. All right, I hope people are with me and they are understanding. Okay, so they're asking, what is the relationship between angles A and B? Are they 1, complementary angles, B, co-interior angles, C, corresponding angles, D, alternate angles? So A, B, C, or D, which one? Okay, which angles are they? So I see in the comment section, majority of people are saying corresponding angles. And I love that. If you are saying co-interior, then it means you are missing the essence of the relationships that exist between parallel lines. Okay? And we need to then revisit, that understanding so that you are clear. We can't be at this point, guys, misunderstanding. Hopefully by now we all know fun. We all know fun, right? Fun, right? Fun. So let's just say the F is just a little bit. Okay. Hopefully we all know what fun is by now, guys. Hopefully. So we say F, we say bottom of this angle, bottom of this parallel line, bottom of this parallel line, our F relationship. We call our F relationship corresponding. Okay? And we usually use corresp for short. Okay? And we say corresponding angles. Okay? Now, this line and this line, we say they are parallel. Bottom of this line, there's an angle. Bottom. So I call these the bottom angles. Bottom. Or you can say it's top, because on top of this line, there's an angle. On top of this line, there's this angle. We say top, we are equal. Bottom, we are equal. We call these corresponding angles. And usually, if let's say these lines are parallel, we say corresponding angles, and our reason, we say AB is parallel to CD whenever we conclude that angle top bottom and angle bottom are equal. But guys, it must be on the same side of what we call this line. This line is called the transversal line. Okay, so the reason whenever we use this is corresp angles, and then we write a semicolon, AB is parallel to CD. Okay, but remember here, they are just asking what is the relationship between the angles marked A and B. That's all they are asking. They are asking about the relationship. They are not asking for the reason. Okay, so remember, corresponding angles are angles that basically, we note by at the bottom and at the bottom on the same side of the transversal line. Okay, so if it was bottom, then it's corresponding. If it's top, then it's corresponding for the F shape. Okay, so please guys, then there's the U shape. We know the U shape has a sum of 180 degrees. I usually call these the armpit angles. If you look at if you take your arms and you extend them forward, and then your armpits, where your armpits are, where it stinks, usually, that's where your armpits are. So I call them these the armpit angles. And in order for you to fix the situation of armpits that stink, you need to get roll on. So you need to add something to your armpits in order for your armpits to actually smell good. So I usually call these the armpit angles, and we say they are co-interior angles. Very important. And whenever we have to utilize that to support that the two angles add up to 180 degrees, or they sum up to 180 degrees, we say co-interior angles. AB is parallel to CD. We need to always state the lines that are parallel. Then lastly, I'm sure you guys also know the N or the Z shape. The Z shape angles. here, 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 here. We also say that these angles, if the lines are parallel, guys, we say these angles are what? They are also equal. So we call these alternate angles. Very important that when we use them, we say alt angles, and then we state the lines that are parallel. So the Z or the N shape, if you want, you know, the angles there are equal, given if the lines are what? Are parallel. So once again, I come back to this situation. So we must know FU and N and Z. If you guys are in grade 8 or 9, you must know this without a shadow of doubt. If you are in 10, 11, and 12, it goes without saying, you must know that relationship so well. So what is the relationship between the angles marked A and B? Yes, guys, it is C. The relationship is just what? Corresponding angles. That's the relationship. Okay. So someone in the comment section asked, where are your parallel lines? Hello guys, remember they are just asking the relationship. So the relationship is corresponding angles. They didn't say, give us the reason why these two angles have that kind of relationship that they have. They didn't say that, they just asked for the relationship. And remember guys, corresponding angles exist whether lines are parallel or not. Corresponding angles exist whether lines are parallel or not, because the bottom, top situation warrants us to say corresponding. But we only say that those angles that are corresponding are equal if the lines are parallel. And that's very important. Okay. Yeah. It's just like the co-interior relationship exists whether the lines are parallel or not. But the angles that are co-interior will be equal if the lines are parallel. The alternate angle or the Z-shape relationship always exists, but the angles are equal if the lines are parallel. So it's very important. So this one is C. Let's move on to the next one. What is the value of P? Okay, so for those who don't see, this is 55 degrees and they're asking what is the value of P? A, 125, B, 55 degrees, C, 145, or D, 35. So just FW, mu, and Amo the gamer, Basima Kubela, they are all saying it's B. Alright. Simi is also saying it's B. Irene is also saying it's B. Junior is saying it's B. And many others are saying it's B, B, B. So if I was to ask you what's the reason, right? If you were writing a test and let's say it was not multiple choice and I was asking you what is the value of P, give me the reason as well. Hopefully you all know that you would say P is equal to what? 55 degrees. That's what you would say. Okay, Oradile, you are no. That's a no. Okay, look at what Oradile Tinsilo is saying. He's saying 180 minus 55. So Oradile in her mind is thinking that B and 55 degrees are co-interior angles, which is incorrect. So Oradile, let us fix that notion. Remember, we said that co-interior angles, if the lines are parallel and we have the angles, your armpit angles, those are the ones that sum up to 180 degrees. So your U-shape relationship is what gives us a sum of 180 if the lines are parallel. But this one, this is bottom on the same side of the transversal line. So that means what? That it means corresponding. So we say P is equal to 55 degrees. And then when we write our reason, guys, very important, corresp angles. This is not enough to write corresponding angles like this. You must then semicolon state the lines that are parallel. KL is parallel to what? MN. Very good. Ngosinotolo is amazing. Amo the gamer is amazing. Okay, you can see the reasoning is 100%. These people, KL is parallel to MN. Guys, the equal sign does not have to be written. You just write corresponding angles. That is the relationship that exists. You don't have to say corresponding angles equals. No, you say corresponding angles. Then semicolon, you state the lines that are parallel. Please. Okay, so that is B, no doubt. But if we were writing a test and we were required to write lines, the reason, this is how we would do it. Corresponding angles, and then we'd state the lines that are parallel. Okay, Emelda, we don't only use 180 when we are using triangles. Imelda, we also use sum of 180 if the relationship between the angles gives us a U shape and the relationship between the angles is co-interior. This angle plus that angle for co-interior angles will sum up to 180. So it's not just triangles, but it's also the U-shape relationship between parallel lines. The co-interior relationship also gives yield to a sum of 180. Whilst corresponding and alternate don't sum up to 180, but we say that the angles are what? Are equal. Okay. Let's turn over the page. Let's come here. Beautiful, beautiful. What is the size of angle? Now, please, guys, we need to also know how to write this. EOB. EOB. In other words, okay, if you guys can't see, this is 2x and that is 3x, just so that we can see it a bit more. They are asking, okay, they are asking what is the size of EOB. In other words, they want to know what is the size of the angle. So we currently have the size of the angle, and we usually say we have the size of the angle in terms of x. This angle is written in terms of x. When we say in terms of x, it currently shows us the angle having a variable of x. So if we look at the situation, all of it, okay, yes, I'll do that, Minnie, don't worry. We have 3x, we have 2x, we have 90. AB, we can see clearly, is a straight line. So surely you guys can see that there's a relationship that exists between this angle, which is a box. We know this means right angle, it means 90 degrees. We have a 2x, we have a 3x. These angles are adjacent, they are next to each other. So therefore we say they are angles that are on a what? Good, I love what someone is saying there. It means that these are angles on a straight line. Very important. So angle EOB, we are going to eventually find what the actual size of angle EOB is. But firstly, let us solve for what? For x. How do we solve for x? We are going to look at 90 degrees, look at 2x, look at 3x, add the angles together because they lie on a straight line. Okay, so let's go. 3x plus 2x plus 90 degrees. Where do I get the 3x from? Here. Where do I get the 2x from? There. Where do I get the 90 degrees? The box. We say in mathematics that if the angles are next to each other, in other words, they are adjacent, and they lie on a straight line, they complete 180 degrees. In other words, from here to there, from there to here, from there to here, they are completing 180 degrees, lying on a straight line. We say these are angles on a straight line, and therefore the angles on a straight line, they add up to 180 degrees. Our reason that we write, very important, we write angles, the symbol, on a STR dot line. Okay, then let us solve. 3x plus 2x is 5x. So now we are actually solving. We take the 90 degrees, we transpose it. The 90 is positive, goes over to the right hand side, becomes negative 90 because it is the third term in the expression. So plus 90 can be transposed to the left, to the right, and it changes to negative 90. 180 minus 90 is 90 degrees. So yes, guys, when we now solve for x, the 5 and the x are multiplied to each other. So we divide, we use the inverse of that, which is the multiplicative inverse. We divide by 5 both sides. We get x is equal to 18 degrees. Now, remember, x is 18, so that means we are ready to substitute in the place of x here, the 18 in the place of x there. So let's go and substitute. Angle EOB is actually equal to 3 times, in the place of x we write 18 degrees. What's 3 times 18, guys? because angle EOB now, I will be able to tell you what it is. What's 3 times 18? Let's see in the comment section if people can tell me what 3 times 18 is. Irene, very good. Irene is saying the answer is 54. Thank you, Irene. You're a rock star. So that means, what is the size of angle EOB? Remember, we did identify EOB as 3x. Now we've solved for x. We got 18 degrees using the appropriate method. We substituted the x, which is 18 degrees. We're getting angle EOB as 54 degrees. So what is the size of angle EOB? A, 54. B, 90 degrees. C, 18 degrees. D, 36 degrees. So our appropriate answer here, option, is A. It's 54 degrees. Okay? That was not too bad, wasn't it? Nice and smooth. So guys, let us, let's see this thing. Angles on a straight line. I just want to, bring this to your attention. We say that two adjacent angles on a straight line are supplementary. I repeat, two adjacent. This word adjacent means angles that are next to each other. Angles that are next to each other. These here, this x and this 180 minus x are next to each other directly. Okay, they have a common vertex. That's what we mean by adjacent angles. Angles that have a common vertex. So if you take this angle from here to there, then from there to here, we complete the straight line. It's like my protractor from 0 all the way to what? To 180. So that's why we say the angles add up to 180 degrees. So that's why we say two adjacent angles on a straight line are what? Are supplementary. This is the acceptable reason we use angles on a STR line. Please, guys, we must align ourselves to the acceptable reasons that we ought to use. Here is another situation where we have angles on a straight line. This here is the common vertex. So from here to there, angle. From there to here, y. From here to there, x. The angles together are lying on a straight line, but they complete a protractor, 180 degrees. That's why we say z plus y plus x. X plus y plus z is 180 degrees. The sum of two or more angles on a straight line, but they must complete. Please, guys, these angles, if you want to say they add up to one, they must complete the straight line. Hey, they must complete a straight line. It's almost as if when you draw from here to there, from there to here, from there to there, all of them must complete a protractor. They must what? Complete a what? A protractor. Then you can say they add up to 180 degrees because they share a what? A common vertex. There must be a common vertex. If it's no common vertex, you can't say they add up to 180. I see learners sometimes say angles add up to 180 degrees, but they don't complete a straight line. So must be very careful with that. All right, let's come here. Okay, what is the value of f? Okay, so for those that don't see, this is 68. This is 46. They are asking what is the value of f. Okay, so if you look at the diagram, you have BE, you have DC, you have your symbols for parallel lines. They are asking what is the value of f. Okay, f is just this portion. Okay, it's just that part. Now we are being asked what is the value of what? Of f. Okay, now this is 46. This is an angle 46 next to f. It makes up the entire angle DCB. Okay, this is 68 degrees. Okay, so what relationship can you see? This 68 degrees and this entire angle 46 and f. Okay, so I'm sure you can see the U relationship between this angle and these two. The U relationship. Okay, that speaks to co-interior angles. All right, So hopefully you guys can see that what then I can do is this, since this is 46, but this is f, the entire angle, the addition of these two angles plus the 68 should give me 180. So what I do is I just say 68 degrees plus the 46 degrees plus the f is equal to what? 180 degrees. Why? Co-int angles. What's the lines that are parallel? Let's look at the lines that are parallel. BE is parallel to CD. BE is parallel to CD. Okay. Then I can now solve 48 plus 68 plus 46. So that would give me a what? 100 and what, guys? 68 plus 46. Hopefully I can see that. What does that give me? 114, thank you. Plus f, which is 180. This is so important. You see my reason? Very, very important. Co-int angles, you must state the lines that are parallel. Please, please, please. Then we transpose the 114. Okay. And then we solve. 180 minus 114. All my calculator people are here. Thank you so much. F is equal to 68 degrees. Isn't it? No, sir. Can't be. It's not 68. It is 66. Thank you so much. Irene and Nwa Ndobe. Thank you so much. That is 66 degrees, not 68. So if we go to our options, I'm not even guessing. I've calculated. So my guess is a calculated selection. It's not even a calculated guess. It's a calculated selection with a statement, reason, solving. Because me, I am so fluent. We as students, maths gamers, we are fluent in how we are getting our answers because we know our stuff. Let's come here now. What is the value of B? Okay, and I'm sure people are like, which B are you talking about? Well, let me show you what we have here. Okay, there we have it. We have 20, we have 55. We have A minus 40 degrees, we have 2B minus 40 degrees. We have 2A minus 15 degrees. They are asking what is the value of B. So let's just log into the diagram first before we really jump into answering any questions. We have parallel lines here, MO and PQ. There, the symbols are there to show the lines are parallel. Those are the only pair of parallel lines that we have. Inside the parallel lines, we have this triangle and we have that triangle. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, and I'm sure if I was to ask anyone, what type of shape is MPQO? Somebody would tell me that it is a, let me wait for it. If I was to ask, what is that shape? This four-sided shape, what would people say to me? Right, I know you guys are on your way calculating B, but what does it look like? Emo the gamer, definitely not a parallelogram, definitely not. Okay, yeah, hopefully we can see. Yes, Nwando, it looks more like a trapezium, right? Thank you so much, very nice. Secondly, now what we want here, yes, the type of quadrilateral it is, it's a trapezium. That's what it looks like. Now, what we must then do when we do problems like this, we must look at what we have given to us. This angle, PMO, angle PMO is A minus 40 degrees. In other words, we are given that angle in terms of A. Okay, we say angle PMO is in terms of A. Then we are given angle MPO. Look at angle MPO. Angle MPO is in terms of B. In other words, we have a variable B, okay, in which angle MPO is defined. Then we have angle MOP. Angle MOP is 20 degrees. It's not in terms of a variable, which is very nice. Okay. But nonetheless, guys, I hope you guys are getting the point here. Okay. So that's the thing here. Then let's look at this angle here. MOP is 20 degrees. QOP is 55 degrees. We look at this angle here, it's 2A minus 15 degrees. And I am thinking that we can actually get the value of A. All right. So here are two things. Okay, I am thinking of this, and maybe someone else is looking at this problem and they are thinking of something else. Please do share your thoughts in the comment section. But if you look, no, guys, you are asking me how did you get 40 from MPO? MPO. Oh, sorry. This is 2B plus 2A. Sorry. My mistake. Thank you so much for that. SNK. Okay. Me, I am reading my diagram incorrectly. Sorry, this is 2B plus 2A. My mistake. I was trying to actually show these values and these expressions for these angles. I was trying to actually zoom into them. Sorry. So sorry, that was my mistake. This is 2B plus 2A. I did not calculate anything yet. I was just writing down the angles. So this angle here, thank you so much for that. So this is A minus 40 degrees. That's 20 as you see it. That's 55 as you see it. That's 2A minus 15 degrees as you see it. And then this here, this angle here is 2B plus 2A. Thank you so much for that. All right. Now, guys, I unfortunately, if you look at this, okay, if you look at your alternate angles, unfortunately, I don't have, this is 20 degrees, right? Now, that means I can actually write here what this angle is, okay? I'm just exploring this. So if this is 20 degrees, we can all agree that this is also going to be what? 20 degrees. Do we all agree, right? So in other words, angle QP, angle OPQ is 20 degrees. Angle OPQ is 20 degrees. Right? And if we were to write a reason, obviously, we'd say alt angles. And then which lines would we state are parallel? We'd say MO is parallel to PQ. MO parallel to PQ. Let's all agree, obviously, that would be the case. Okay, so once again, that's 20 degrees. It means I can actually say angle OPQ. Very important to actually write it as such. Or you can say angle QPO with a cap on top to indicate that the middle letter indicates the angle. Okay, so I'm sure you guys now can look and you can see and you're like, oh, okay, this is making more sense. Now, if I can find the value of A, that would be nice, because the minute I have A, what then can I then do? I can actually find the value of B. Now, if you look at this triangle MOP, I have A, I have B. I can't use this triangle alone to find the value of B. So I'm going to leave this triangle for now. But I can go on to this triangle OPQ. What do I have in triangle OPQ? 22 degrees. I have 2A minus 15. I have 20 degrees. So I can use this triangle and solve for A. The minute I have A, I can then substitute A in the place of A here, because the same value of A that I get here will be the same value of A I can actually substitute here for A. And then ultimately what I can then do is use this triangle MPO, and find the value of B. I hope you guys are looking at my trail of thought. That's one way of thinking. Maybe someone else who's looking at this problem is like looking at 20 degrees, looking at 55 degrees, and looking at 2A minus 15. And he's like, I can see co-interior angles. Say, this angle and that angle are co-interior. So if I add this entire angle and this entire angle, this is my U shape. So I can use co-interior angles and find the value of A. So let's check if both will actually help. Let's look first at a triangle. I'm going to look at both now. Triangle POQ. So triangle POQ. I can see I only have that variable. Everything else is numbers. So let's find the value of A using the triangle. 20 degrees plus 55 degrees plus 2A minus 15 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. What is the reason? There's one of three reasons we write. We can say interior angles of triangle, or if we don't want to use that reason, we can say sum of angles in triangle, or if we don't want to use that reason, we can use angle sum in triangle. The acceptable reason document, guys, only allows us to use one of these three reasons to basically state that the angles are supplementary. One of these three. So you must align yourself with one and use it grade 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. Then we can add the angles, right? 20 plus 55 minus 15. 75 we have here. 75 minus 15 gives us what? 75 minus 15. 20 plus 55 is 75. 75 minus this 15 degrees gives us what? 60, right? So we have 2A plus 60 is equal to 180 degrees. We transpose the 60 degrees. 2A is equal to 180 minus 60 is 120. 2A is equal to 120. We divide both sides by 2. We get A is equal to what? 60. That's the value of A. Right? We used what? The triangle to find the value of A. And then I said, if maybe someone did not see the triangle, they could have looked at the co-interior angles, this angle and that angle. Remember, this is between parallel lines, my armpit angles. This entire angle plus this entire angle should also give me what? 180 degrees. Isn't this like the same thing as saying 20 plus 55 plus the 2A minus 15 degrees equal to what? 108. What's the reason? Co-interior angles, and I would state my lines that are parallel. It would still give me A, that is what? 60 degrees. I hope you guys can see that. So in other words, if depending on what the learner sees, either option is 100% correct to finding the value of A. Either option is 100% correct in finding the value of A. The learner who sees the triangle, okay, as opposed to the learner who sees the co-interior angles, that will still find the same value of A for what? For using co-interior angles. All right. Now, guys, after finding A, remember what did I say? We can now safely move on to this triangle, this one. And we can find the value of what? Of B by substitution. Yes, guys, remember, I'm not a curriculum designer. I'm not the one that sets the test. And yes, you commenting in the comment section and saying all this for 1 mark. Yes, guys, I myself don't understand why. Remember, I'm someone who's just helping. I don't understand why. I don't know why the mark allocation for this multiple choice can only be 1 mark. Because this is time consuming, that's very true. But who am I? Me, I'm just helping. Triangle MOP. Now we can go to that triangle MOP. I identify the triangle. There, I can say what? A minus 40 degrees plus 20 degrees plus 2B plus 2A is equal to what? 180 degrees. What's the reason? Once again, I said one of three you can use. So me, I've chosen my choice. Now, I love interior angles of triangle. So you can use any one of these three. Sum of angles in triangle, you can say, or angle sum in triangle. Me, I love this one. Okay, now we can go ahead and solve for B. But remember, we found A. So now it means in the place of A, we can substitute 60. And then we can go ahead and solve for who? For B. So 60 minus 40 is 20 degrees plus 20 plus 2B plus 120, because 2 times 60 is 120. So 60 minus 40 is 20. That's plus 20 plus 2b plus 2 times 60, which is 120, which is equal to 180 degrees. And then we conclude and finalize everything. 180, we transpose the 120, becomes negative 120. We transpose the 20 plus 20, which is 40. Let's just say negative 40. We isolate 2b on the left. What's 180 minus 20, guys? Surely 180 minus 20, we all know, gives us 60. Then what's 60 minus 40? 60 minus 40 is what? Is 20. Okay. And then 2b is equal to 20 degrees. What do we have? 2b is equal to 20 degrees. We divide both sides by 2. We get a value of b, which is what? 10 degrees. Okay. Now, if you are still writing control tests this term, then of course your teacher could give you a question like this and say what's the value of b, but the mark allocation would definitely have to be accommodative of the fact that this is the question that they are asking. All right. Right. Do we see? So that means option A is the right option. Okay. And then as I go and as I leave, well, hello Ruby, long time no talk. Well, it's good seeing you anyways. Then the sigh. That is so funny, the sigh. Okay, then number 8, a right angle triangle. Yeah, value sex. Good seeing you. A right angle triangle is a triangle with. A right angle triangle is a triangle with A, 1 right angle and 2 acute angles. B, 1 right angle and 2 obtuse angles. C, 1 right angle and 1 reflex and 1 acute. D, 1 right angle, 1 reflex and 1 obtuse. So hopefully we can see that if we go by elimination, can it be possible to have a right angle triangle where it's 1 right angle? So all 3 options have 1 right angle. So we all know that a right angle triangle has at least 1 right angle. But additionally, so let's eliminate. So all of these options would be correct if we were to stop there. Okay? But 1 reflex, remember what is a reflex angle? It's an angle greater than 180. So this one is out. This one, it's out. 1 right angle and 1 reflex, it's out. The minute they say reflex, it means, remember, a triangle has a sum of angles that gives us 180. But then if you say 1 reflex, it means we are going beyond 180. So this is out, this is out. 1 acute, it's out. 1 obtuse with a reflex, it's out. Let's go to B. 1 right angle and 2 obtuse. Now, 2 obtuse, what is an obtuse angle? An obtuse angle is an angle greater than 90 but less than 180. No ways. No ways. Can we have 2 obtuse angles? No ways. With a right angle, remember having 90 plus 2 obtuse angles, meaning you have 2 angles that are greater than 90. No ways. So B is out as well. Right? 1 right angle and 2 acute, yes. Remember, acute angles are angles that are less than 90, greater than 0. So that means if you have 1 right angle and 2 acute angles, definitely that would be a right angle triangle. This qualifies as a right angle triangle. The thing is, what caps it is that we know a triangle has a sum of 180 degrees. So B, C, and D eliminate themselves by virtue of having a reflex, C and D, and then B eliminates itself by virtue of having 2 obtuse. It can't be a triangle, this one. So it has to be A. That one option is valid and viable. Okay. Moving right along. Which one of the following triangles is an equilateral triangle? Look at this. Look at this one. A. Look at this one. 65, 80, 35. Look at this one, 68, 68. B, look at this one, 60, 30, 90. All right. So which one is an equilateral triangle? Okay, people are saying A. All right, hopefully we all know what an equilateral triangle. 60, 60, 60 sides are all equal. So yes, very true. Hey, let's look at these. Yes, very good, very good. Let's look at 10. Which one of the following statements best describes a kite? Best describes a kite. The diagonals are perpendicular. One diagonal bisects the other diagonal. One diagonal bisects the angle at the vertices. That's A. B. The diagonals are perpendicular. The diagonals are perpendicular. The diagonals are perpendicular. I'm sure we can all agree that this first statement, the diagonals are perpendicular, is true of a kite. Now we are going to have to eliminate what's not. No, that's nonsense. Let's look at D. The diagonals are perpendicular and do not bisect the angles at the vertices. Guys, a kite. The diagonals are definitely perpendicular. That's one thing we know for sure. This diagonal does not bisect the angles at the vertices, but this diagonal does bisect. This angle will be equal to that one, that angle will be equal to that one. The word bisect the angles at the vertices. Remember, a vertex is the corner where two lines meet. We call that a vertex. So one vertex, many vertices. So vertices is plural, meaning it's many, but vertex is one, singular. So the diagonals are perpendicular and do not bisect the angles at the, do not, that's nonsense. Okay, because there's one diagonal that does bisect the angle at the vertice. There's one diagonal that does do that. The long diagonal does bisect the angles at the vertices. Okay, remember the word bisect means to cut into two equal. So this diagonal, the long one, will bisect the angle at the vertices. So you can't say the diagonals are perpendicular and do not, because there's one that does. So this one is out, D is out. C, the diagonals are perpendicular and bisect each other. Each other. Okay, yes, the long diagonal bisects the short one, but the short one does not bisect the long. So basically, we can't say that they bisect each other. No. The long one bisects the short one. There's one diagonal that bisects another, but they do not do that to each other. Remember, the word bisect means they cut in each other in half and they are equal. Okay, so this is not true. Okay, this is not true. Okay, so this one is out. So C and D are out. The diagonals are perpendicular and bisect each other. This thing makes it that they do not bisect each other. In a parallelogram, yes, the diagonals bisect each other. In a square, yes, the diagonals bisect each other. In a rhombus, yes, the diagonals bisect each other. In a rectangle, they bisect each other. In a parallelogram, they bisect each other, meaning they cut each other in half. But in a kite, it's the long one alone that cuts the short one into half. The short one does not cut the long one into half. Shorty does not do it, but ulongi does it. So the diagonals are perpendicular. That's nonsense. They bisect each other, bisect the angles at the vertices. So you hear they are saying, it's almost as if they are saying both do that. No. Let's look at A. The diagonals are perpendicular, yes. One diagonal bisects the other diagonal, yes, that's true. And one diagonal bisects the angles at the vertices, yes. So is this a kite? Yes. So is A correct? Yes. Are we yes? Yes. Are we going to school? Yes. Am I living the life? Yes. Goodbye? Yes. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, 5:45. Be there or be square. or geometry will geometry you. Goodbye.